My name is Washarakia, and today I'm joined by a very good friend of mine called Apollo Kamaru. He's going to tell us more about himself and what he does. We're going to talk about urban farming, especially during the pandemic. So urban farming has become very popular. Not just it's urban farming, so most people don't have farms, but then we've seen guys doing balcony farming, we've seen kitchen gardens where people are growing groceries that they can for their own use. We've even seen some selling maybe the surplus, which is also an income generating activity for some of the families, especially families who come from informal sectors. So Apollo works for an organization he's going to tell us more about, and he's an expert or has some expertise on matters to do with urban farming. I also have a farm. It's not a farm per se. It's like a kitchen garden. We have a kitchen garden. And it's so good. So we keep chickens, we have vegetables, and really for sure, first of all, being in Nairobi, which is like if you have like a small balcony or a small space at your Nairobi house, actually if it's rented, and that's a privilege because that's not something you find in Nairobi. So if you could grow things like sukuma wiki, spinach, nyanyas, so that you don't have to buy them all the time. Then the beauty of that also is like organic, maybe also natural, either organic or natural, both, because then you know what you're growing, like
you know what you're eating.
You know what you're eating at the end of the day. So there is that. Then you can also maybe share with your neighbors, especially now that people are struggling to put food on the table. You can share with your neighbors for the surplus. You can also sell also. So yeah, so I also have some experience with urban farming, and I enjoy it a lot. But Apollo is going to share more about that as we discuss. So yeah, so maybe tell us who you are, and then and the organization you work for, and what programs you guys are working on, then we can go to the topic of the day.
Okay, so I'm Apollo, Morigi Apollo. I work for Miss Coach Kenya. I do storytelling for the organization, so strategic storytelling in the organization. My designation is different though. And what we do at Miss Coach Kenya is that we have 4 programs or thematic areas where we engage people in the community. We engage people in education and mentorship. We engage people in talent and entrepreneurship. We engage people in human rights and governance, and sexual reproductive health and rights. Now, under these 4 areas, we have various projects and programs that we help to reach people through, such as scholarship program for deserving kids in informal settlements and the areas around it. We also have mentorship sessions where we've been engaging learners, a cohort group from class 6, now they're in form 2, and what we've been doing is that we've been offering them interventions by supporting them in the after school support, counseling their parents, we call it parental counseling, so that they can engage better in educational outcomes as well. Yes, offering them soft skills. These are issues such as creative thinking, critical thinking, grooming, all these things. Relationships, sexuality, sex, all these topics, so that they can be better persons. We also engage them by giving them exposure visits. Now we take them to places such as universities, factories, airports. Yes, for career development. We also actually offer career talks as well. We bring in various professions, police officers, lawyers, engineers, and they talk to them so that they can better identify what they want to do in the future. Yes, and that's what we've been doing for the past couple of years.
Okay.
Yes. Under sexual reproductive health, we have programs where we go to schools. We mentor kids on sexual reproductive health as well as child protection. Yes, under talent and entrepreneurship, we teach 6 art forms. We teach modeling, we teach DJing. We have a DJ academy. We teach dance, we teach music, photography and film, as well as finance. Yes.
So on one of your programs is you guys it's entrepreneurship, and that's where urban farming comes
in today.
Yeah. So first, before we go to like the entrepreneurship bit of it, let's talk about the food security, like the food part of it. So food being basic need for everyone and everyone, but it's also a luxury to a lot of people. Not everyone can afford a three meals 3 meals
A
in a
day.
day.
No, actually, not most people.
Not
informal
most people,
settlements.
yeah. Especially now during the pandemic where most parents have lost their jobs, the biasharas have gone down, some even close. Kids are away from school where they depend to get, tea or porridge or lunch from school. So now those kids are now at home, and then so a parent who before used only to worry about 1 meal for the kids has not to worry about 3 meals in a day for the kids for the last few months and also for the few months to come. So, and urban farming is one of the things that people are now picking up. I think it's become trendy because you've seen it on Pinterest and Instagram. Guys are like, there's the fancy urban farming for like
fancy. I think they are doing for decoration purposes.
So there's a fancy urban farming for people who just want, I have a kitchen garden, I grow my own herbs.
And the only thing in the herbs is cinnamon, rosemary, mint. Those
meat for the cocktails. meat for cocktails. But yeah, so there's that fancy urban farming, like pretty Instagram and Pinterest pictures. There's that urban farming. For most of those guys who do fancy urban farming,
and selfies, it's also good for
selfies. And like those beautiful, like decorated wooden crates and stuff. So those ones probably it's not more like it's not a necessity for them, I would say. First, maybe they're doing it because
hobby, I think.
Because maybe people who are cautious of what they want to eat, how like pesticides and whatnot and chemicals. Maybe they're very cautious. I want to eat food that I've grown myself. I know where it comes from. Maybe organic food, natural food, and all those stuff. So people who, of course, informed about chemicals in food and the effects. But most people in informal sectors, they don't really care. Not that they don't care. First of all, they're probably not informed about chemicals in food, and then also even if they are informed, they don't have a choice. They need food. So you tell someone, school your spinach in my partner sewage. They'll be like, well, if I don't eat that, then the kids are going to go to bed.
And that's what they can afford at the moment.
And that's what they can afford at the moment. So let's talk about the urban farming as a necessity for people in informal sectors, or maybe middle class and lower middle class people, something that they can grow, for their own food also.
Over time, actually we started this before COVID.
Yeah.
It's something we started maybe mid 2019, and what we did initially is that through established youth groups in informal settlements, we set up circular gardens. Now these circular gardens, circular, I can't explain circular garden, but I'll give you a photo of one. So what we do with circular gardens is that it's you call it something. What did you call it?
It's called vertical farming.
Yes, even circular gardens are an example of it. So only you can actually even farm cabbages on it because in a June, but then it's multi-layer. So a single piece of land you can plant several plants in the same area. Yes, so we set up circular
gardens. It takes less space.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we set up circular gardens, and we first tried farming cowpeas. Cowpeas. Kunde.
Oh, it's kunde.
Yeah.
You don't know this.
So we started with cowpeas, kales.
Just call it kunde.
Cowpeas, kunde, kales, spinach.
Dania.
No, we didn't do that. It was a pilot at then.
Okay.
We only covered those three. And the outcome was okay. It was good. It was not very profitable, but at least it could. It was self-sufficient, so that it could procure its next siblings as well as feed the people who are working on it.
It's also low maintenance.
Yes. But I wouldn't say circular gardens are low maintenance because first of all the soil is expensive. The red soil, because you need red soil, so you need rubble or you need fertilizer, and it's expensive.
Water also. Yes. Water is a problem in Nairobi.
Yes, and that's what we did as a pilot then. Then later in the year, our ED is very passionate about urban farming. So we ventured into trying to commercialize some of these things because again, you can't commit your entire day as a youth to do farming only for that farming not to pay your rent. Because you could, I don't think.
You could be doing something else that generates your income.
So we decided that maybe this farming should take a different route where people would actually have it as a source of livelihood, not as a source to supplement their livelihood. So set up little gardens within their homesteads, within their households, So that hapo tu nje ya nyumba, you set up like one of those
Several
sacks.
years, yeah.
Actually, if you had one guinea out of your door, it could actually feed your family because
You can have several of them. Like
actually a single guinea, a good one, can actually have about between 50 and 100 stems of kills.
Different,
Yes, and that can actually feed your family. So that's what we are working towards. We are also working towards having the groups do mushroom farming, but we are trying to have this mushroom farming purely as a commercial exercise, so that the surpluses they get from feed, because you can't eat all that mushroom.
Yeah.
So we are imagining that they'll only eat so much mushroom without getting irritated with it or getting bored with the mushroom. So we are planning to have it, the mushrooms purely for sale, mostly for sale, not purely for sale, because they have to get it. Also, mushrooms are strangely nutritious, and while we were doing our research before engaging in this project, we realized that Kenya actually has a deficit of mushrooms so big we can't imagine. Yes, mushrooms is awesome. It is. Mushrooms, first of all, you have types of mushrooms. I didn't even know that either.
No, mushroom is mushroom, like.
No. Actually, apparently, all these types actually have different shapes.
Okay.
So what we are doing at the moment, we are trying to do that. There's one known as oyster.
Okay.
Oyster, some type of mushroom known as oyster, and that's what we're trying to do because it's quite not difficult to do. It also doesn't. It does well generally. Because the market of it is also good. And it's not difficult to handle. And what we're trying to do is that to ensure that these families sustain themselves through these simple gardens. Now, in the new intervention we are planning, reliant on funding that we have not established yet. Yes, donors that we not have yet. Is that this farming is supposed to help these families feed themselves and also have the surpluses sold. Now these surpluses, once they sell, will help sustain the project. So it should be a self-sufficient project that is not, the problem with most projects is that most projects that you continuously give. But now this one, we are trying to see a project that is self-sustainable, that once you give once,
at the beginning,
it starts sustaining itself going forward. And as it sustains itself, it also feeds the people in it and actually improves their nutrition. As we were discussing earlier, some of the kills people eat in formal settlements grow around sewage areas. But right now, you'll be growing your own kills upon Java. Now, we are planning on engaging public spaces as well, such as police stations, schools. So we develop gardens for schools as well. And these gardens can produce enough food for, if not all the food, all the kids to eat. We have like Komboni, Daniel Komboni Primary, where we are trying to set up a small garden. If it can, we don't think it can be sufficient for the whole school, but at least I think it would be enough.
It's better than
for maybe this, because they have a special unit. I think the food could be enough for the special unit, but I'm not certain about that. And it's a passion. It's something we think is doable. It's attainable. And actually, most youth actually are buying into the idea. You'll be shocked. You look at the impact, because I've been to some of the existing farms already that are being implemented by youth and women, and they're doing very well. You go to some of those farms, you will not believe. I've seen a single, that without fertilizer, they are producing 1 kale or 1 spinach, like a single leaf, so big and certain I could feed of only 1 leaf. I know, I'm very serious. They are very big. And this is something probably in future we should embrace as a practice in urban areas.
Because food is expensive.
Yes, food is expensive. A single family, a family of 6 in Nairobi, the lowest they could eat in a day, they could spend on food on a day and be sufficiently fed for the 3 meals, and probably a snack in between would be about 500 shillings a day. Now, that is too much money, especially in this time of COVID-19. Most people have been laid out of work. Most people have had salary cuts. Some people are actually being paid on LOE, level of effort. So literally, you've maintained your job, but now tell us exactly how much time you are using to spend this while to do this job. We pay you exactly for those hours. Now you're used to being paid 8 hours or maybe some even 10 hours a day. Now you only get paid for an hour a day or 2. Now that money cannot be sufficient, and you have to supplement this using farming. And people think you can only do this urban farming if you have a big chunk of land.
Let me tell
you, I have seen people practice urban farming. rearing chicken on balconies.
Oh, no,
No, I'm serious, on balconies. You see, the balcony has this.
You have like
Yeah.
some kind of shelves. I think I've seen some
Yes,
designs.
people do shelves. And those can't afford shelves. They actually just buy crates, like common crates.
Like the big ones.
Yes, and they do that. You see, there's these plastic trays of eggs. I've also seen people use them to plant, to do seedlings, so that they make seedlings
Even
which
the
are then
eggshell.
Yes.
The eggshell itself.
Yes, and people are doing amazing stuff.
Yeah, I've seen. I do a lot of. I follow several Pinterest accounts that do urban farming or maybe gardening. I would say you have things like the toilet roll, that brown thing. Instead of throwing it away, there's a way you can grow seedlings or even herbs, because some of these have like rosemary. They don't. Rosemary is a thick and mint. You can grow them in very tiny containers.
They don't have.
And then place the container somewhere on the window of your kitchen, or just somewhere, or just hang them somewhere in the house or something.
And even give you a better smell in the house, because the smell outside, especially mint.
Yeah, mint and for the cocktails.
Also, some are actually not going into food they can actually eat. Some are venturing into flowers instead.
Yeah, that's what guys do flowers.
And some of these flowers, especially those that you can easily propagate from stem. Like you cut off the stem, you plant it elsewhere, germinate. And they are selling. Other people are actually going a step further, and as type of urban farming, they are rearing fish. Now, some of the fish they are keeping in tanks are, for instance, guppies. Now, fish like guppies, they are hard water fish. They are hard fish, so rearing them doesn't require a lot of attention. People go out and venture out into maybe goldfish. Goldfish is actually a delicate fish. People don't know that. It easily develops fin rot. But you see, guppies are quite easy to manage because you can feed them once in 3 days, they won't die. They also, I don't want to say this, I'm sure I might get backlash on this, but they actually give birth to fish. So they don't lay eggs in the water. The problem with aquariums, with fish lay eggs on water, then you change the water, you throw away the eggs. But guppies don't do that. I want to say they give birth. They give birth, but I'm sure it's wrong. There has to be a better word for it. So they give birth to fish. So you actually have fish being born.
So they're giving birth.
Yes, I am not an expert in fish. So, and you resell some of these because a single guppy fish, a young one, will go for 200 shillings. And each time a guppy gives birth, it gives birth to about 6. I don't know what you call it. Fishlets. What is the name of a young fish?
I don't know. It's fishlet.
Yes, they fishlets. I'm quite sure. It sounds like piglets. No, it can't be fishlets. Hi. And it gives birth to baby fishes.
Let's call them baby fish.
And 6, that's about 1,200 if they grow up to maturity. So people think about urban farming and they think the only thing you can do is actual plants. But you can go to actually animals as well.
Even chickens.
Even kittens. I've seen people who breed kittens and they sell kittens. They breed particular types of cats or dogs that are actually sell good in the market. I went to visit a friend of mine in South Sea late last year. Then I found him selling a single kitten at 25,000. I didn't even know you can sell a kitten for that much. No, I'm serious. But sometimes it's those breeds of cats that you've seen that cartoon that has a fat kitten that is a king or something. Those cute big cats.
I'm not into pets. So
I am not into pets either, but I'm into fish. I have fish in my house. I really have guppies actually. So that's why I'm passionate about it. They don't
high maintenance.
Yes, they don't live far on your seats like cats and dogs. So that's why I like fish. They stay inside there, they're in one place. You're sure where they are.
And you can eat them.
No, I can't eat guppies. They are too small. Yes.
Where are you keeping them?
For instinct.
So they also, I think there's so many things. I think we just need to think out of the box when it comes to urban farming and also growing our own food. It doesn't have to be vegetables and whatnot. I've seen guys growing fruits. I've seen banana plants that grow within like 2 years. Not banana, avocado,
yes,
oranges and stuff.
Especially these grafted ones.
Oh, we also have people keeping having rabbits.
Yes, rabbits.
We also have, I think there's so many things that people can really keep. and
Yes,
also
just
grow.
find what works well for you.
What
and
works
do
well
that.
for you, do that. And you don't even have to like go to them. You've seen also guys selling food from the boots of their cars because it's extra food. You also don't have to go to like Marigiti and sell from there because you're wondering, okay, if I grow and have surplus, what do I do with the food?
That guy posted your point
So you're going to call your friends. I've also seen guys selling food stuff online. Like you just go on Twitter and Facebook and say, hey, have extra treats of eggs. Who wants them at 300 shillings? Please WhatsApp me at this number. So at this time, because I'm thinking this pandemic, we have to, if we don't die, well, we hope we won't die, but then we need to come out better people than we are. We become, let's be a bit more innovative in kind of our lifestyle also, and also health conscious also at the same time. So yeah, so great food can be one of the advantages. So there's nothing like all people from Ushago have advantages. Okay, they have big farms, but you can also try to work with
You can innovate
Yeah.
how to do it within your space.
Yeah, we can work with what you have. So guys, if you there's also goat keeping. I also think I have a neighbor of mine who has a goat.
But they make the entire state smell funny. No, I didn't say it's bad because I also like goat milk.
Yeah.
But it smells funny around my
I've even-
estate because
I've-
of goats.
No, I'm even taking goat milk nowadays.
Not high on fat.
No, it's actually even healthier than cow
No,
milk.
but it's high on fat.
Yeah.
Good.
The problem is not the fat one. But yeah, so people, please let's because food security is a problem. Because we've also seen nowadays, if you're very keen, especially when it comes to fruits, we're having very good apples and oranges because these farmers they have the best fruits. They grow the best fruits for export, and then the reject is what they sell to us.
Yes.
So you've seen there's unakulia tu siku hizi machungwa inakaa vizuri at a cheaper price and good apple.
Mpaka unashangaa.
Unashangaa kwani what happened? Kumbe
Unakula ndoa.
Europeans. Now Europeans, so this, I think we also need to love ourselves enough to want the best for ourselves. Because there's no way until you grow the best quality foods for export and then you leave the bad ones for us. Yeah, for not all these farmers.
We also deserve good.
Yeah, it's our people. Like if Europeans deserve food, like the best quality food, we also deserve the best.
So do we.
Because we're the ones growing it. We are
talking hard on it.
Yeah, it is our lands. We are brothers. So please, for the farmers.
Na ukiuziwa malenge hapo ama mandizi na mtu pesa mingi nunua tu akikwambia lazima goje reject ununue pesa mingi.
But this is the other thing. We also need people to be very cautious with these terms, natural and organic, because I think some farmers may be taking advantage of it because it's trendy. So maybe do your research also on what you're growing, what you're buying at the same time. You also have to be cautious with the chemicals and whatnot. And just ask someone, hii mnapanda wapi? Like where does it come from? Like hii spinach inakaa iko na like such a big leaf. Is it
Unakula tatu familia ya tukuni.
Imagine, you're serious. So you see those guys, like the ones who sell upanda nini kwa spinach, kwa sewage.
Yes, they do actually.
Yeah. So we also have to
Along the rivers.
Yeah,
And below rivers in Nairobi are toxic.
Yeah. So thanks a lot to Apollo and the organization that he works with, that was in Scotch, for the work that they're doing actually during this pandemic to make people's lives a little bit less traumatizing than it already is.
And we're helping him eat better.
And also eating better and also maybe generating
Income.
But these are some of the things that even us, we can borrow, and even after COVID, well, not after COVID, but after we try to go back to a slightly normal life. These are things that we can adapt and for our own use and also
And implement within our own households. It works.
So so thank you so much, guys. If you're growing vegetables at your balcony, you have chicken or rabbits or goats, please share, or fish. Yeah, also research. Like I think we are very lucky to have information. Google is here, Pinterest is here, Twitter. Like just research. What are people doing? How do you grow? On YouTube, let me tell you, YouTube is the best place to see because there's so many farmers. YouTube University, like you see, even from abroad, some of these things, some of them don't apply to us because some of the things they are growing, they can't probably grow here depending on the weather and whatnot. But you also have Kenyans or maybe people from Africa
with very good
channels, and that you can learn from. And it's free information. And some of these seedlings, if you go around almost everywhere in Nairobi, you can find those guys who sell. Somewhere karibu kuna like a forest kind of a thing that they grow seedlings. You can also buy the seeds. They're very, very like you have no excuse not to try out something. Like hata kama ni kwa mkebe, I've seen people growing herbs kwa vikombe, zile vikombe za chai. And you don't need fancy creates for Instagram. Like you connect, there's a like I've seen people. I also use broken buckets. Instead of throwing them away because it's plastic, you can use them to grow stuff. Gunia is like 20 shillings. Mtungi, like a jerrycan, you can cut it into half and have 2 containers to grow vegetables in. So yeah, you have no excuse. Just research and see what other people are doing and borrow ideas from different people. And yeah, we all become urban farmers. And if it is not your thing, then support your friend who has who grows groceries and you buy.
No, remember
the fact that they're growing from the balcony doesn't mean it's cheap. you should get them for free. Buy and support your other friends. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. So please like, share, and subscribe, and comment and share your experience with urban farming.
Bye.
See you.